Hello from Anews, welcome to our program. Today we will talk with Somali British politician and inventor Abdiqani Abdulahi Hassan, whose inventions are also quite well known by Fatih Dönmez, Turkey Energy and Natural Resources Minister. We will ask him some question about the state of Muslims in the United Kingdom. Welcome Abdiqani, how are you?
I'm very good, Brother Tufan. Thank you very much for having me here.
What do you think about the development and the future of the relations between Somalia and Turkey?
I think the future of relations and development between Somalia and Turkey is together. Birlikte. It is together. And this is our future. And this is not just a matter of choice. This is also a matter of existence. Our existence depends on us being together, our unity. There will be people that look like us. There will be enemies that look like us from our own houses and from outside that will be working very hard to make sure that this relationship is broken, that this brotherhood is broken. Therefore, in my opinion, I believe we shouldn't just say the future is together, we will be together, we will be together, we'll be brothers. We also have to work very hard to make sure that this brotherhood becomes stronger.
Thank you. What are the agreements in effect between Somalia and Turkey right now?
The agreements between Somalia and Turkey, you could summarize them into 4 different agreements. There's defense agreement, there's humanitarian agreement, there is religious and public agreement, and there's also economic agreement. If I comment on the defense agreement, as you know, Turkey is training Somali soldiers, commandos in Sparta. And also we believe, I believe now Turkey trained 5,000 Somali soldiers, and we expect Turkey to also train 5,000 more soldiers. So this in total will be 10,000 soldiers. However, I would like to advise our Turkish brothers and also the Somali government that more could be done. A lot more could be done. Eritrea is a country of 5 million, I think, and Eritrea trained 5,000 Somali soldiers. In my opinion, if the right decision is made, if the commitment is there, Turkey can train more than 50,000 Somali soldiers. This can happen because Turkey is the second most powerful country in NATO. The second most powerful country in NATO. Turkey is also the second biggest army in Europe after Russia. So more could be done. And in terms of the humanitarian side, as you know, Turkey built one of the largest hospitals in Africa in Somalia. Dikfer Hospital, which is also known as Recep Tayyip Erdogan Hospital in Mogadishu, capital of Somalia. So a lot more could be done. I would also like to call on the Diyanet to be a bit more active, to take more active role in Somalia, specifically my role model responsible for external affairs or foreign affairs for the Diyanet, Dr. Salim Argun.
So Abdiqani, can Muslims in the UK live their religion freely?
At the moment, we do not see a major pressure for Muslims in the UK. We don't see this. Of course, sometimes some problems come up, like there was a Trojan horse problem where Muslims were targeted. There was a time when, Muslim communities or neighborhoods, some spy cameras were put in place. But these are some problems that come sometimes. In general, the Muslims in the UK are living freely without major problems, not like France. It's not like France. In the UK, there's a more freedom in terms of religion, and I advise the new government and the new Prime Minister of the UK to also take this approach to follow that progress, that path. I would also like to advise again our Turkish brothers to also build a close relationship between the Muslims of Turkey, of course. Turkey is a Muslim country, and of Europe, specifically UK. And there's the Presidency of Turks Abroad and Related Communities. I think it's called YTB in Turkey, and the president is Abdullah Eren. I would like to advise Abdullah Eren to do this personally, to build a closer relationship between the Muslim community in Turkey and in the UK, and specifically Somali community.
MashaAllah. So, what are the organizations organized by the Muslim communities in the UK? Is the number of the mosque enough in the UK?
Okay, these are very good questions. With the first question, what are the organizations, Muslim organizations in the UK? Well, in the UK, specifically the city that I'm from, Birmingham, we have Europe's biggest Islamic NGO, Islamic Relief, founded by Dr. Hani al-Banna. With the Somali community in general in the UK, we have the Somali Association of Britain. We also have the Muslim Association of Britain, which SAB, Somali Association of Britain, is a part of. And the Muslim Association of Britain is also a member of the Muslim Council of Britain, which is a very powerful organization in the UK. So these are very powerful organizations which I advise and call upon our Turkish brothers. I call on İHA, I call on the Diyanet Waqfi, I call on YTB, Presidency of Turks Abroad and related communities, to establish closer relations between these organizations. I also call on Ibn Khaldun, I believe it's called the Khaldun Foundation in Pakistan, to also work with these brothers, because I think the biggest Muslim community in the UK is Southeast Asian community. And so Pakistani community, Somali community, Turkish community, diaspora. Can you imagine if they get together what can happen? Can you imagine? The success that can happen, the progress that can be made in unity, in brotherhood, and in every field, in economics. With the second question, are the number of mosques in the UK enough? There's about, I think, 1,500 mosques in the UK. This is the estimate. Maybe 2,000 unofficially, I'm not sure. A lot more could be done. In comparison, I think there's more than 100,000 masjids in Turkey. Also there's Cambridge, Cambridge University, which is a very famous university in Cambridge. The first ever proper masjid in Cambridge was built by Diyanet Waqfi, the Diyanet Foundation. It's called Cambridge Central Mosque. This mosque is also Europe's first eco-friendly mosque. So again, I call on Dr. Salim Argun and the Diyanet Waqfi and also other Turkish organizations to work very hard to establish relations between the diaspora, Turkish diaspora, Somali diaspora, and other related communities.
Abdiqani, I want to ask something about UAVs in Somalia. So, how is Turkey's progress in UAV seen in Somalia?
Amazing. And it's not only Somalia, the whole world is amazed by Turkey's progress, amazed and shocked by Turkey's progress in UAVs. If you have cancer, Tufan, if a person gets cancer, I hope you don't get cancer, inshallah, none of us. What happens? What do? People do crowdfunding. I'm ill, I have cancer, I need somebody to help me. And so you do crowdfunding for something that is between life and death, or if somebody dies. Yeah? So if you do crowdfunding, this means it's very desperate. In the world, it did not happen that a country is doing crowdfunding to buy a drone. This happened in Ukraine. Ukraine was crowdfunding to buy Bayraktar TB2. Lithuania also did crowdfunding for Ukraine. Latvia did crowdfunding for Ukraine. Canada did crowdfunding for Ukraine. Norway did crowdfunding for Ukraine. This did not happen in history before. So we see Turkey's progress in UAVs as a success also for us, because the success of your brother is also your success. Güçlü Türkiye, güçlü Somalia. Güçlü Somalia, güçlü Türkiye.
Thank you for your answers to our questions, Abdiqani. And do you want to add something?
Yes, Brother Tufan, thank you very much for the invitation. I would like to advise the Turkish government and also the Somali government. Last year there were reports of establishing Turkish space station in Somalia. I would advise both governments to work very strongly in this regard. It would be a great success for both countries, for both people, if this happened. So for them to work very hard in this field. Somalia is very close to the equator, And also Somalia and Turkey are very close brothers, two very close countries. This is the best place to do it. I would like to also advise the Turkish people and the Turkish government on both sides to cooperate more closely in media, in media, for there to be better campaigns. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Abdiqani. Thank you for watching. See you later again.